Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan. And Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee is all things confidence, clarity, leadership, communication. It is all things life. And we are continuing the conversation on things that hold you back. But today we have our amazing Heike Yates back with us, and she's going to dive into this concept from her book, Pursue Your Spark, which it's linked. You need to get it. If you don't have it, you need to get it. If you're listening, I am holding it up. And if you're watching on YouTube, this is it. So go to the link and grab it. And Heike is going to dive into this with us today because she's fabulous. And I'm so happy to have her back. So Heike, welcome to the show.
Carrie, this is so exciting. I know we were like old friends by now. Interview number 3. Like, what do we not know about each other at this point? Because of course, before we record, we have to chat. We have to catch up with things. And so excited that we're at the point where we now talk about Pursue Your Spark, the book.
Yes, I am too, because this book is fabulous. And there are these, I mean, guys, when you get the book, you have to turn to the page with the QR codes and then just like sign up for everything. Sign up for everything. These are amazing things that she has given you access to. Midlife time management planner, guys. You gotta get it. You gotta get it. So go there, get it, and we are going to together dive into chapter 1. So Heike, why is this chapter 1? I mean, I feel like chapter 1 of a book sets the tone. So why this concept of invisible barriers holding you back being chapter 1?
You know, as you know, if you've been listening, and if you have not been listening to any of our episodes, Carrie is mine, please go back and listen. I have a Pursue Your Spark as my virtual brand in the book and the podcast, but I also have a studio, a brick and mortar studio, as it's referred to, where I see people in person or also virtually that I work with one-on-one. Specifically to what their needs are for fitness, nutrition, and their mindset strategies. And mindset always takes the front seat. People come because they out of shape. Oh, I need to get back in shape. Oh, I need to lose weight. I need to get stronger. I need to lose the 20 pounds that I've had since my last kid was born.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can really see it. Everybody has an external explanation of why things are not going the way they thought it was.
Yeah.
And that really prompted the first chapter. And as you kindly pointed out, the QR codes. I didn't want the book to be about fitness and nutrition, but I wanted it to be supported by those things that people actually come to when they're saying, oh my God, I feel so weak, make me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go dig into why that is. Why are they not strong already or not as strong as they thought they were?
Mm-hmm.
And what is really oftentimes not the case, what holds them back is not, oh, I have so many hours at work. I take care of the grandkids. I'm in a sandwich world right now. Or I just never have time. I don't know where my time goes, although I spend an hour scrolling on TikTok. But well, we all do it.
We do.
All at some point we need to
No judgment. Yeah.
just kind of scroll through and not learn always something. But it was never the things when you really pinpointed, they were all just excuses of why things were not happening. Not an explanation really, although everybody thinks, oh, I tell Heike that I was on Instagram for the last hour and she will go, yes, I get it. It's great. And I'm like, yeah, well, why are you there for so long?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's okay to de-stress, but if that happens more than you want to, something else is going on. And these are those barriers that we may not want to recognize or don't even know that they're there.
Yeah. So Heike, what are some specific barriers that women have brought to you that they don't recognize as barriers? Like I had someone say to me yesterday, I just want my legs to be strong again. I want to be able to walk up steps and not have my legs hurt. And my question was, well, what was it that got you to that point? Like, what happened in your life that made you stop thinking about, or had you stop thinking about, my legs really aren't strong? Because you don't go to bed with strong legs and wake up with weak legs. I mean,
Good point.
in general.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it? So what are some of the things that women have brought to you, and how can we mitigate that? I know you go over it in your chapter, but I'm going to ask you to explain it. What can we do to mitigate those invisible barriers that we don't recognize most of the time? We need a Heike to point them out to us. We do. We just do.
Do you know what? It's a little bit of an aside, but this week it was just the funniest story. One of my clients comes in the studio, and I do both. I do virtual when she's out of town, and we work together when she is in town. But she's very specific about that. She wants one-on-one coaching. She doesn't want anything else. And she actually compared going to or coming, seeing me to get a dose of Heike with what she does for work. So she is a supervisor. And she said in the last meeting, she said, listen, I'm going to the studio, whether it's virtual or in person,
Mhm.
and it's not relaxing. She sees everything. She pays attention to me. She questions me about when I'm not doing something that I should be doing, or she sees something and says, why is this tight today? What have you been doing? And she really puts me on the spot sometimes that I have to think about what is it that I did or had done that might have caused that imbalance on my body. And so I have to actually work with her and not just lie down and do the exercises that she tells me and I just kind of go through the motions. I have to pay attention to what it is that she's asking of me, because she says, if I don't, she'll point it out.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, ooh, but she says, but the good thing is, the more I pay attention and the more she tells me how to fix things. Now, fix things is probably not the right word I want to use, because we always hear people in Pilates fix people. That helps me overcome those obstacles, or helps me get out of this pain in my hip or things like that. The better I get, the more I pay attention to what's really happening around me and with me. When I'm really stressed, I have a hard time paying attention. But if I really focus on what she says and try to actually do what she says, even though I may fail that day, it's a learning process. She
Yeah.
says, and that's how I get to do harder exercises.
Wow.
And this, isn't that the coolest thing? But I had to laugh. She said, it's not relaxing when I go to her.
Well, it's not supposed to be.
And it's like, think about this in terms of the invisible, the barriers we don't see. And in this example, I think it was brilliant that she said, I didn't just show up and just did. I was asked to pay attention to what's going on around me. Am I stressed? And she oftentimes works really, really long hours. So she comes at times really, really overtired.
Mm.
Um, but she says, I have to pay attention in order to move forward. If I don't pay attention, she's not letting me just slide by.
Mhm.
She's like, come back here. No, 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 no. We're not going to do this. And I think that's what happens with us. We just don't pay as much attention. We let things slide by.
Mhm.
We pay attention to everybody else but ourselves.
Yeah.
Everything else becomes more important. And so these barriers are invisible. They are invisible. And we can overcome those, but we have to pay attention in order to make a change.
Mhm.
If we do not pay attention, we don't even know what those barriers are,
Yeah.
because we keep flying, flying by night. It's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm still doing whatever doing may be, whether it's in your job or it's in your health or it's in your nutrition plans. You have to pay attention.
Hmm. So, yes. And why is it though, when sometimes we pay attention and we still miss the barriers? If we think of our brain like an operating system, many of us are operating on an outdated operating system. Many of us are, I'm including myself right now, because I shared with you before
Mhm.
we started the podcast, something that I just addressed and overcame after decades. And why do we allow our brains to stay in this comfort zone? Because that's really what that is. We're staying comfortable,
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
When we're not, a barrier is a red light. It's like a warning sign. That's what I want to say. It's
Mm-hmm.
a warning sign. Oh, we don't know if I go past this barrier, what will happen past that? What dangers will I run into? What ways will I feel scared, incompetent, feel like a fool because I didn't know or didn't do? And so keeping ourselves safe is a very normal habit.
Mm-hmm.
And it is okay to be safe. But if you're not reaching the goals you set for yourself, you need to address one of the barriers that hold you back, whether it is old patterns of, oh, what worked in my 30s now it doesn't work, but I keep going back to that because that's definitely worked back then, so it has to work back, it has to work now, which in most cases it doesn't. Things need to change. And we don't expect you guys to change overnight or recognize all those barriers that are holding you back. But start being honest with yourself. What is it that you want different? What is it that you want to change? And everything you've done so far hasn't produced that result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that you said that. Everything you've done hasn't produced that result. So, what is it inside of us that makes us think we can just do that a little bit more or work a little bit harder at that and expect that different result? Because that is, I mean, we've probably all heard that. That's the definition of insanity. We keep doing it. Maybe we do it more and we think it's somehow going to produce this goal. And the second part of that question, Heike, is what do you say to women who don't know what their goals are? Like, they just can't figure out what they really want in life.
I think they're just overwhelmed. And although I hate that word overwhelmed because everybody uses it now, we're always overwhelmed. Everybody's overwhelmed.
Mhm,
Uh, but we put too much on our plate. We think we should change everything all at once.
mhm.
And how do you figure out if you want to change everything all at once, which is the typical, I'm here, make me lose 50 pounds? I was like, okay, well, how would you want me to do this? Well, I don't know. You're the coach. Okay. Well, that's not hard enough. That's not fast enough. That's not complicated enough. I'm not hurting enough. Okay, but that's how we're going to get results. We have to really dig down and figure out, in this case, with the weight loss, why did you gain the weight in the first place?
Uh-huh.
What is really the layer underneath all of this that got you to that point? And there's, oh my God, there's so many points in our lives that we touch on. And I'm going through a phase right now where I have one of those really sensitive touch points that I'm dealing with. Man brings that up stuff in my head and memories and things. And I was like, we just take one step at a time. We go
Yeah.
with the one, and I always say, go with the one that you're willing to address,
Mhm.
even
Mm.
if you don't know exactly what that is. And I know a lot of women say, I don't know when I feel this way. I don't know where is it? What is it? Question, be curious, see what comes up. And it may be something completely different than what you thought should come up.
Hmm.
If you let those thoughts just bubble up to the surface without judgment, without saying, this is wrong because this is not what I thought should come up. When you
Yeah.
think of when you think about it, like in meditation, oftentimes you're trying to calm your mind and your mind is racing and you're thinking all these things that you've been wanting to get rid of, and they suddenly all bubble up.
Yeah.
But then there's a calm after the bubble.
Mhm.
And that calm is your choice to really, or chance to really evaluate what would be the next logical step that you are willing to do at this point. Because I think, Carrie, that some of these invisible barriers, we're just not ready to tackle. They go back to our relationship with our parents,
Mm.
with our siblings, with situations that we had forgotten about. And sometimes we're just not ready to tackle these things. And that's okay.
Yes. When do you think we are ready to tackle them? Like, when you're working with women, And it's one of those things that we're just not ready to tackle. How do we know when it is time to tackle those deeper things?
When things just don't feel right, when you feel unhappy, when, even you can't pinpoint what it is, but you're always snappy. You're always, yep, 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 always short, and you don't even know why you're that way. But when things are just not feeling right,
Mhm.
that, from my experience, is the moment when we're like, okay, well, what's not right? What is it? And that takes some digging. And you know this from your work. It doesn't just come up with one question where we say, so what comes up now? Let's tackle this. There's a lot of layers. And I've said this before, it's like the onion. You keep peeling back,
Mhm.
and you have to be willing to be exposed and expose yourself to yourself, because there's nobody else judging you for what you're going through at this point. When you become more visible, when
Yes.
you become more seen by yourself and the needs you have. But
Mhm.
I find, from my experience, is that it's just not, things are just not right.
Yes.
And unhappiness, these two things could show up more often than many of the others that I hear or talk about.
Mhm. I work with a wellness practitioner, and I have I don't know if I want to use the word struggle, but my weight since my cancer diagnosis has been such a um, I'll use the word issue, but such an issue in my life. And the results of the surgeries and my mom dying in the same year, all of these things playing into a 50-pound weight gain, some of it physical and some of it very emotional. And so I've been working with this practitioner, and the last time I met with her, we were going over my blood work, and she said, I'm going to be honest with you. Everything looks great. You have made amazing progress. And I said, okay, why am I not losing the weight then? And she said, I think it's time to look at the emotional concept, the emotional part that's going on in here, because there is a barrier, but it's not physical.
Mhm.
We need to dig deeper. And I just sat and looked at her and said, can that really affect my ability to take this weight off? And she's like, it's the biggest part. And I guess I just never thought about it. Like, what from that time period have I decided is still a part of my life, but it isn't?
Very
And
true.
yeah. So what would you say to someone coming to you in that same situation? So I've done the physical work. I have changed a lot of things. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing the walks every day. I'm getting sunlight first thing in the morning, last thing in the night. I mean, I've done all the things, right? So
Oh my
someone comes
God.
to you and they're like, why am I still dealing with this belly? Why am I still dealing with this weight that won't budge? What are you saying to them? How are you helping them? Let's word it this way. How are you helping them find the barriers?
I look at, that's a classic example. I look at their stress level.
Mm,
Where does the stress come from? Because stress induces cortisol, higher cortisol levels. Cortisol increases belly fat, almost stops weight loss, but produces weight gain without you actually doing anything wrong.
mm,
You're doing everything right. But that stress that keeps niggling on you has such an effect on our metabolism. It is unbelievable. And finding what the stress is, when you think about, there's a lot. When you think cancer, this is like a whole stress ball right there.
it is.
And it's something that we fear, and we must deal with to move forward in our health. And then your mom dying, that's another huge stress ball. But where do you start to make peace with where you are?
Mhm.
Make peace with, okay, I've had cancer. I'm great now. Everything, all the tests are done, the chemo, whatever you went through is done. The fear still will be there that cancer may come back. We know that. But how can I say, you know what? Until that happens, I will no longer worry about that.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's nothing to worry about until it is time to worry about it again, if ever.
if ever.
So we're taking away that preconceived notion that we will be like this for the rest of your life. Oh my God, what happens? and we have these premonitions, and then we tell ourselves, which we all do, we tell ourselves things and that may or may not be true and never become true. And I hope that's okay. I use you as an
Oh, yeah,
example.
absolutely.
It's like, when with that prognosis, you could sit there and worry your heart out, and
Yep.
nothing will be better. It will be worse for what you're experiencing. But what if you said, everything's great. I'm going to live now with what there is, and I'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
takes a big load off your shoulder.
I could feel it falling off my shoulders as you were saying. Thank you.
You're
And yeah, you
welcome.
can always use me as an example. I'm
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I don't want to dig too much in your private and you life, and you've been sharing so generously about this, and I know it is super difficult because I have a cousin who is going through her second bout of cancer at the moment.
So sorry.
And she was well, she had all the right signals, everything was good. And then just when I saw her recently in just a month ago, she said, I'm back on chemo. And she says, but until then, I was fine. I lived my life. I enjoyed what I was doing. I was not thinking about that it will come back or may come back, because it may never come back again. And that's how she's thinking about it now too. She says, I can't see you right now, but the next time you come, I will see you.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I think there are a lot of women, whether I mean, there's so many other things it could be besides cancer, who are feeling that way right now. And that's such amazing advice. If we live today with what we have today, we can drop that stress. We can drop that fight or flight feeling. And
Mhm.
I remember vividly this past January 7th was my 5-year colon cancer-free date. And yeah, and it felt so freeing. Like it was an amazing feeling. And I kept thinking, I could have had that feeling for the past 5 years. Because every day that I woke up,
Mm.
I was cancer-free. I didn't have to wait for a 5-year anniversary date. I could have claimed that the entire time. And so moving forward, that's what I'm doing. The same thing your cousin did, and the same thing my brother did.
Yep.
Today is my day. Today is my day. Is that a strategy that you use with your clients, Heike?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always the person that says we're living in the moment.
Mhm.
Life may be terrible right now, but tomorrow it's going to be better because of the actions you're taking today. The
Yes.
action towards feeling better, feeling stronger, and being more in charge of your life, not something else or somebody else, whether it's a job. My one of my girlfriends has been unemployed for a year and a half, and she is not finding a job. She's read the book too. And she says, how can the book help me find a job? And I said, it probably can't help you find a job because it's not a job searching kind of book.
Mhm.
But read the chapter on roadblocks. When you come up to the roadblock, what comes up for you, basically, of what we're talking about, what comes up for you? Why you're not making the interviews? Why are you not being called back? How did you write your resume? How did you put yourself in that resume? What is it when you get a call back and you stand in front of these people and you have to answer all those questions? How do you feel about yourself? How do they see you? Do they see you as a confident future employee and competent? Or do they see somebody who says, man, I still don't have a job, and please, please, please give me a job. I'm so desperate.
Yes.
And instead, I said, think about, read that chapter, and then, of course, read some others that resonate. But at the moment, I said, just read. So, what did she do over the last year and a half? The first 6 months, she just kept writing resumes after resume, and like hundreds of resumes,
Wow.
and nothing. And then she got a job at the American airline. And she's doing checking people in, and at the gate and at the terminal and all these kind of things. So she has now a part-time job with American Airlines that pays part of what she needs to make. She is in love with bunnies. She's always a foster mom for bunnies.
Uh-huh.
So she now works for that company who is the foster hub for all the bunnies. So
Wow.
she's doing office work, marketing, and all kinds of things. And so this is covering the other half of her job. It's completely different of what she did before. She was working for American Aid, or sorry, American Aid, African Aid, and that's not existing anymore. So now she said, okay, what am I passionate about? I love to travel. She got the job for the airline. So she can fly for free.
Oh, nice.
She has the bunnies. She's still fostering 2 bunnies, but she's now helping this foster organization for bunnies to market, help find foster parents for the bunnies and marketing and whatnot. And that pays the other half, something she would have never in a million years thought she would do.
Yeah.
So when you let go of preconceived notions, of fears, of things that you don't even know hold you back, like she was determined to get a job like she had before.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do and nothing else. Well, those jobs don't exist anymore. What can I do instead?
Wow. Wow, I love that. That's powerful. That is
Yep.
so powerful. We're gonna we're gonna talk about roadblocks next time. I think that's a great place to kick off on our next one.
Yeah, but
Oh,
when you think about when we talk about the invisible barriers, her barrier was that she only saw herself as that woman who had that African or American aid job. That
yeah,
was it.
yeah,
She has a degree, she has a master's, she has whatever she has, but that's how she saw herself, nothing else.
yeah,
And that's when you have to pivot and open yourself up and be vulnerable. That's
yes.
when things happen.
Mm, resetting the operating system. Yes,
Mm.
I love that. I love that. I can't believe how fast our time goes. I have a dog that is, like, desperately wanting to be picked up right here. What is the matter? All right, hold, please. Come here.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
She's not gonna
There she is.
stop. She's not gonna stop. Okay, so Heike, I love having you on Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. You are absolutely fabulous and amazing, and we wanna know where we can find you, and I will link all of our episodes, so
Here is Pursue Your Spark, you guys. If you watch the video, it gets bright orange. And it looks like somebody opens up a package.
yes.
Yay. You can find my book wherever books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, literally wherever books are sold, and audio, video, no, not video, of course, audio in soft cover and in ebook form, anywhere you can buy your book. And just Google or ChatGPT, Pursue Your Spark, or my name, Heike Yates, where you can find my book, my brand, everything about the spark for women in midlife.
I love that. I love that, and we need a journal prompt from you, please.
Ooh, today's journal prompt would be, what can I let go of now that I have clarity after this interview?
What can I let go of now that I have clarity after this interview? That is fabulous. That is fabulous. I hope you will all take the time to journal that because I will. And then you could send your responses to Heike and let her know what this whole interview meant to you. You can either drop it in a review underneath the podcast or in her book. You can find Heike's email and send it off to her directly. But definitely keep in touch because this is what she lives to do, is helping us live a better life, midlife and beyond. And I just heard something this morning, and I don't remember where, but it was 7 things that people 50 and over who look and act younger do to look and act younger. And one of them is letting go of beliefs that don't serve you, never served you, no longer serve you. Because we're all going to age. Our skin is going to change. Our hair is going to change. Everything changes. Aging happens, right? But getting old is all up here. And when we don't let go of limiting beliefs, when we don't let go of past hurts, if we hold a grudge, all of those things pull you, literally physically pull you. And that's why we sometimes see people who are much older who look amazingly young, and people who are young who look amazingly old. And it's this mindset thing. So Heike, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Carrie. Carrie, it's always a pleasure to be with CarrieVee.
I love that you feel that way, because I definitely want you to come back, because we have a whole lot more to discuss. So thank you. All right. This has been Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee with Heike Yates. Make sure you click all those links below so you can catch the past episodes with Heike, grab her book, and get ready for the next episode. Heike, thank you again.
Thank you.